So I'm Becky Holm with Sunrise Enterprises. Good morning, Roseburg Small Business Group. Yay. Even smaller this morning. Love the snow. So this morning I'm going to talk to you about the Work Opportunity Tax Credit, and that's called WOTC. And what's in it for you? Are you leaving bucks on the table? Because we're talking about lots of dough. But are you leaving a lot of money on the table? Each year, the government sends out over $1 billion in tax credits thanks to WOTC. 20% of your new hires likely will qualify for this tax credit. And in Douglas County, I'm guessing it's probably more than that. And if you don't have procedures in place at the time of hire, you're probably leaving money on the table. Now, I know all of you are super bright and understand the difference between a tax credit and a tax deduction. But a tax deduction is one that lowers the amount of your taxable income. But if I give you a $1,000 tax credit, that actually lowers your taxes by a whole $1,000. So the Work Opportunity Tax Credit is for employers who employ somebody, who hire somebody from a certain targeted group. And those are the ones that have usually faced significant barriers to employment. There's actually 10 targeted groups, but because some of them overlap, we're going to focus on just 4 of them. The first one, veterans, ex-felons, people who are on state assistance, and then people who have disabilities that are working through voc rehab. So if you don't WOTC, you oughta. This federal program not only supports the community, but it also supports the employer through the tax credit. And that's between $1,500 and $9,600, depending on which targeted group that you're employing out of. So how does it work? What do you got to do? You have to file the paperwork, and you have to do that within the first 28 days after you hire somebody. And you have to make sure that you hire the right person from a targeted group. You also have to verify the wages that you've paid and certify the number of hours worked in that first year. It's easy. It's really, really easy. It's Form 8850. And on the left side of the screen is where the employee fills out their information. And then it tells you which targeted group they're out of. And you can see on the right side of the screen, just the top half, it's basically where the government sends your check. So it is likely one of the easiest forms the government has ever given us. And with all governmental things, the big print giveth and the small print taketh away. What you have to do is you have to make sure that the employee works at least 120 hours. If they work 120 hours to 399 hours, they get one rate. You get one rate of return, and then over 400 hours is a different rate.
Is that per year or
the tax credit is only good for the first year. Yeah.
per employee?
Per eligible employee. Yep.
They have to work 400 in a year.
400 in the year, yeah. In their first year of employment. So obviously if you hire him in November, it's going to go to the next November. So it'll go over 2 fiscal years. And the second thing is you can't rehire somebody and qualify. It has to be a new hire. So who qualifies? What businesses qualify? For-profit businesses, non-profit businesses, and companies that employ temporary, seasonal, part-time, full-time workers. In other words, pretty much anyone, and that's pretty much you. So some of the intrinsic benefits. You get loyal employees. And with loyal employees, there's less turnover. And of course, with less turnover, you're going to get less training costs. You're going to have grateful employees. These are people who haven't had an opportunity or they've faced significant barriers. So they're going to be more grateful for having a job. You've given them a chance. They have an excellent attitude. And with an excellent attitude, they're going to have terrific morale. I know with Sunrise Enterprises, in our training programs, we teach a good work ethic. I have a business now that has said, I'll take 86 of your people because, frankly, they work better than our own employees. And supporting diversity increases your customer base. I know I've gone into an auto parts store and I'm pretty comfortable around pretty much anybody. But it struck me because I saw a woman there and I thought, oh, somebody that looks like me. Now, that's the first time that I've ever consciously thought that. And I know that in our industry, working with our population, that if you hire somebody with a disability, their family knows, their friends know, their community knows. And actually, if you hire from Sunrise Enterprises, we put it on our website, and the community knows. So one of the unique things hiring through Sunrise Enterprises is we have what we call supported employment. And what happens is you hire your employee, our client, and then we supply a job coach. And you train both of them together. And when you train the two of them together, you go off then and you make your company money. You do what you've been hired to do. And the job coach remains there to help continue that training and help make sure that your expectations are always being met. Now, we do try at some point, our goal is to fade away, have the job coach fade away because natural supports have been created. But that decision is only made through a team effort of the job coach, your employee, and you, the employer. And when everybody thinks it's appropriate, then the job coach begins to fade away. So then in a little bit, you've hired Susie, and Susie's doing fantastic. And so you give me a call and you say, Becky, Susie is doing fantastic, better than we expected. And we have more tasks that we want her to do. And we want to be able to train her. So what I do is I send a job coach back. You train the job coach, you train your employee. Then you go back and you do what you've been hired to do. You make your company the money. And the training continues and your expectations are always being met. And then when it's appropriate, the three of you, again, decide when it's okay to fade. So you're always part of a team. and your employee is always supported. So how many in here know Barry Robinson? Yeah, Barry Robinson, when approached, said, oh, no. Our business is too complicated. And then he started speaking to his staff to see what maybe they could offload from their plates. And they said, well, you know, we've been stuffing envelopes with escrow payments and been paying time and a half for that. So he's got skilled workers stuffing envelopes, paying them time and a half, and filing, paying them time and a half, because they have 40 hours to do 50 hours of work. Well, that extra time, that niche that didn't require skill, he brought in one of our clients. And 2 days a week, 4 hours a day, our client, his employee, now long-term employee, it's been great, stuffs the envelopes, files the big title documents, keeps things tidy, makes sure all the printer, paper, or copiers are filled, and he doesn't have to pay time and a half. So that niche employment, the work that has to get done, regardless of whether it makes your company the money or not, the work that has to get done is being done because of niche employment, because it just makes sense. Well, so I am Becky Holm. I'm the Business Development Manager with Sunrise Enterprises, and I can help you with your staffing needs. It's on Form 8850. You submit it to the government, and you have to have the documentation to support. Like with our employee, you'll find that they have the voc rehab paperwork. With a veteran, they would have DD 214, an ex-felon. It has to be within the first year of being released, and they have those papers. Yeah. Yes?
So let's do the math real quick. So if I hire somebody at $11 an hour and work 400 hours, so with payroll taxes, maybe I've spent $5,000 on, how much tax credit am I going to get for that?
So depending on which of the categories that you've hired out of, they have a maximum. So the lowest maximum is $1,500. To hire somebody who's out of voc rehab disability is $2,400. Veterans, I think, is the $9,600. So you've got, and it's a table. Yeah.
Can you get more tax credit than what you paid on employing that person?
No.
Okay.
No. It's to reimburse.
So if you hire a veteran and spend $10,000 a year on 400 plus hours, you could get the 96 and that's it.
Yeah, theoretically. Yeah.
Is it tax credit every year, or is it just one time?
It's for the first year. Now we're hoping that we're dealing with businesses that will find the value in the employee and not just say, okay, I've gotten your tax credit, out you go, and I'm going to get another one, because that just feels, I don't know, icky.
So they're going that extra food, right?
Yes, absolutely. And like with the Oregon Door example, where they want more of our employees than we can actually offer them, they are definitely getting a financial benefit because our employees work the entire 4 hours that they're there, and as opposed to some of the others that maybe goof off a little more. So, you know, and it goes back to that work ethic and the job coach that says, okay, we're going to do this. And so that supported employment really helps. So the person at the title company would not have been employed. Okay, so that's one example. Another example is a friend of mine. He's in the Optimist Club with me, And he has been employed for 5 years. And he is so excited to be employed that he is now a part of something. Sam has an employee here who, before this, had been bugging us to get a job. And his brother had a job, but he had nothing. And consider it this way. When we all introduced ourselves this morning, we gave our names, who we were with, and what we were doing. Oftentimes, people with disabilities, they're introduced, oh, that's John, he has autism. And that's it. So now we have people going out there, my name is Susie, and I work for loggers. Or my name is, and that's not the right name, by the way. But we have people who are so loyal to the businesses that they're associated with. When I had the newspaper, I had a gentleman that worked for me and did some reception duties. And he strutted, as only he could strut, around Sutherland and said, I'm a part of the Douglas County News. And it was amazing. He was more loyal to my business than I was. And that's why, that's one of the reasons that work ethic and the loyalty and the gratitude are those intrinsic benefits. The WOTC is something that, like Dawn said, rewards you for doing the right thing that first year. But the intrinsic benefits that you get from having an employee that is more loyal to your business than you are is so much more important. David?
Does the employee have to be a U.S. citizen or permanent resident, or does it matter?
Yeah, absolutely.
Which?
Those things still apply.
Which?
Well, they have to be legal to work here.
Okay.
Yeah,
So they could be a permanent resident.
sure. Sir?
And one other question about the tax credit.
Sure.
I guess I didn't hear right. Does the tax credit go to the employee or employer?
The employer.
Oh.
Yeah, the employer.
Do you have some other placement examples you could give us?
So there's Oregon Door, there's Loggers, there's Backside Brewery. We've got a gentleman over there that cuts wood. And he is absolutely thrilled to cut the wood. Now the job coach is less thrilled, but
I will say this, I worked at Sunrise as a retail employee at the first store and then an assistant manager, like 7 or 8 years ago. And they really do take so much pride in everything that they do and they just love being a part of it. They walk up to every person who walks in the door and say, hi, how are you, and introduce themselves. And I do think that it's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful thing to have to do.
thank you. Yeah, and that's another thing, our businesses. We have the wood products industry, which is a secondary wood products. We have the retail stores. We have Umpqua liquidation down in Myrtle Creek, which is actually new products. It's kind of like a tiny TJ Maxx. We have the thrift stores. We have the cafeteria at the courthouse. I didn't know if you knew about that. They have really healthy food, really yummy food, which maybe isn't always healthy. But those are all training grounds for me to get people jobs in the community. And what that, like she was saying with the customer service. So now I can go into a business and say, Gina is great with customer service. She loves to put products on the shelves. She is able to be diverted to help a customer and then go back to her job. So it's these skills that I can go in and make sure that they're or not make sure, but to verify that these are things that the individual can do. We also have a janitorial service that we hire out.
In the process of you solicitating this arrangement with a business, how do you go about meeting with them and expressing those values in person? Do you set up meetings or do you host seminars?
I give talks. I take people out to coffee. I meet them at weddings and funerals and social events. It just becomes a part of the conversation. But I do a lot of one-on-one meeting, walking into a business and saying, you know, this is something that could be beneficial to you. It would help our employee. One thing that I do stress is Sunrise Enterprises is a 501c3. We are definitely a charitable organization. And our employment is not. Because if you give one of my clients a job because out of charity and it's not a real job, then they're not getting the purpose and the self-fulfillment that they actually deserve. And if you don't discipline that employee, I mean, if they're not doing a good job and you go, oh, but they're disabled, that reverse discrimination, that's not good for them either. I mean, we maybe communicate in a different way, but they have to be treated in a real way. Does that make sense?
Part of the team.
Yeah, they're a part of the team. They're a part of the team. We have one lady over at Allstate, and she's currently stuffing envelopes, but she has the ability to scan things into the computer and put the files away, and she's looking forward to that. One of the things that Susan said when I first started having a dialogue with her is, well, I have to know her size so that I can get her a t-shirt so that she's part of the team. So, and then at Christmas time, this young woman brought in cookies, and so she was really part of the team. So, but it's that kind of relationship building. Me with the businesses, and then later on the clients with their coworkers is what creates that natural support.
And what about the job coach? So what does it mean for the employer? So the employer needs to pay both, right?
No, excellent question. Thanks, Elena. The job coach is actually our employee. And so we're the ones that take care of the insurance and the wages and everything else. They're our employee. You hire the client, and then we supply the job coach. And so that's how it's supported. Yes?
What are the qualifications to be a job coach? And are you needing more job coaches, or are you saturated in that department?
We do need more job coaches. Part of it is to have a caring, just a caring personality, one that is nurturing and can follow directions and be able to fill out paperwork. High school diploma. Yes?
For people who use, sorry, Chris, people who use HR services, for instance, the business I work for uses Leanne at BBSI. How does that work with those programs? Because they're not hiring those individuals. Yeah, we do. No, I mean like if you work with your business, like on my W-2s, it says BBSI, not those professionals.
So actually, we have employees through Dawn, and we have employees through Leanne. Yeah. So we're able to do that too. Chris, you had a question?
Yeah, so do you guys only place the boat rehab people, or do you have veterans and like all of those categories that you put?
So through Sunrise Enterprises, typically our clients are intellectually or developmentally disabled. There are some that we pick up through Voc Rehab that have other challenges.
So you wouldn't, most likely wouldn't have like, say, someone with maybe skilled labor background, potentially?
We do get some skilled labor, yeah. Yeah.
So I can
We
tell
c-
you that the guy who's working for me, if somebody told me that he had some disability, I would.
Yeah.
So, like Becky started out, she was educating us on the WATC program. So she's just talking about how that works through her company. But it's a good idea in your hiring process to identify the veterans and all other categories.
Right.
It should be part of your initial intake, because otherwise you're leaving money on the table. But there is a gentleman at the employment department that I think works more with veterans. So if you had a specific targeted group, Becky might not be the best source for veterans, but there are sources.
Right.
And,
Absolutely.
But the important thing is, if that's your goal, go after the folks. But whoever you are, when you set up a hiring process, you should look at those categories along with many other things.
Right. There, like I said, there's 10 categories that the people who are on state assistance, and you wouldn't maybe know that when you're hiring somebody. So that's why that form or those questions are really important at the time of hiring, so that you can go ahead and fill out that form 8850. It's easy. Don't leave bucks on the table. The hoof prints are just terrible.